Hello, and welcome to Great Sleep. Get ready to listen and relax. Now I'm going to tell you a story about a cozy coffee shop in Venice that made people feel cozy on rainy days. The rain fell softly on the cobblestone streets of Venice, painting the city in a glistening sheen. The sound of droplets tapping against windows and rooftops created a soothing melody that seemed to envelop the entire city in a blanket of tranquility. In the heart of Venice, nestled between ancient buildings and winding canals, stood Café Venezia, a charming coffee shop with a warm glow emanating from its windows. Inside the cozy establishment, Luca Rossi bustled about behind the counter, his hands deftly preparing cups of steaming espresso and frothy cappuccinos. The rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the sweet scent of pastries baking in the oven. Luca's dark eyes sparkled with warmth as he greeted each customer with a genuine smile, his Italian accent adding a musical lilt to his words. Buongiorno. Welcome to Café Venezia, Luca called out, his voice carrying over the soft hum of conversation in the coffee shop. The patrons, huddled around tables and sipping their drinks, looked up and returned his smile, their faces reflecting the cozy ambience of the place. As Luca worked, he couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment wash over him. The rhythmic patter of rain outside only added to the comforting atmosphere of the coffee shop, making it a haven from the dreary weather outside. He took a moment to glance around at the vintage posters adorning the walls, the shelves filled with books waiting to be read, and the flickering candles casting a warm glow over everything. Luca's passion for coffee ran deep, stemming from his upbringing in a small village in northern Italy where coffee was not just a drink but a way of life. He had learned the art of brewing from his nana, who had instilled in him a reverence for the process of selecting and roasting the finest beans. Each cup he prepared was a labor of love, a tribute to the generations of coffee makers who had come before him. As he carefully measured out the coffee grounds and expertly steamed milk for a latte, Luca's eyes shone with enthusiasm. "Ah, this blend is from a small farm in Ethiopia," he explained to a curious customer. "It has notes of citrus and jasmine, a truly exquisite flavor profile." The customer nodded appreciatively, taking a sip and savoring the complex taste. Luca's knowledge and passion for coffee were infectious, drawing customers in with his stories of different brewing methods, origins of beans, and unique flavor profiles. He took pride in sharing his expertise with anyone who showed an interest, turning each cup of coffee into an educational experience as well as a sensory delight. Café Venezia was not just a place to grab a quick caffeine fix. It was a hub of community and connection. Regular customers filled the tables, their familiar faces brightening at the sight of Luca behind the counter. From the elderly couple who came every morning for their ritual espresso to the young artist who found inspiration in the cozy atmosphere, Luca knew them all by name. "Ah, Signora Bianchi, your usual espresso?" Luca called out to the elderly woman who shuffled in with her husband, their wrinkled hands clasped together. She smiled warmly at him, nodding gratefully as Luca prepared their drinks with practiced ease. The couple settled at their favorite table by the window, their quiet conversation blending with the soft murmur of other patrons around them. Luca moved from table to table, engaging in lively discussions with his customers and listening attentively to their stories. He had a knack for making everyone feel welcome and valued, creating a space where people felt seen and heard. The coffee shop buzzed with conversation and laughter, a testament to the bonds that had formed within its walls. Cafe Venezia was more than just a business to Luca. It was his passion project, his labor of love. The coffee shop had become a second home to him, a place where he could share his love for coffee and connect with others on a deeper level. The cozy ambience and welcoming atmosphere he had cultivated drew people in like moths to a flame, creating a sense of belonging that was palpable. As Luca moved about the coffee shop, his hands deftly preparing drinks and his eyes sparkling with warmth, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The walls of Cafe Venezia were adorned with vintage posters and shelves filled with books, creating an eclectic and inviting space that reflected Luca's eclectic tastes and interests. The flickering candles cast dancing shadows on the walls, adding to the intimate atmosphere of the place. Customers lingered over their drinks, savoring every sip and engaging in conversations that ranged from light-hearted banter to deep philosophical discussions. Luca's genuine care for his customers created a welcoming space where people felt comfortable sharing their joys and sorrows, forging connections that went beyond mere transactions. As the rain continued to fall outside, Luca found joy in the simple moments shared with his customers. The cozy coffee shop buzzed with activity, the sound of laughter mingling with the aroma of freshly baked pastries. Each experience at Cafe Venezia was a reminder of the beauty in everyday life, a celebration of small pleasures that brought people together in shared moments of warmth and camaraderie. "Another cappuccino for you, Signor Russo?" Luca asked with a smile as he handed a frothy cup to an elderly gentleman who frequented the coffee shop. The man nodded appreciatively, taking a sip and closing his eyes in bliss. "Ah, there's nothing like a good cup of coffee on a rainy day," he remarked, his voice filled with nostalgia. Luca nodded in agreement, his own appreciation for the simple pleasures of life evident in every gesture. He found joy in watching his customers relax and unwind in the cozy confines of Cafe Venezia, their worries melting away with each sip of coffee. Even on rainy days when the world seemed gray and somber, there was warmth and comfort to be found within the walls of the coffee shop. During busy moments at Cafe Venezia, Luca's skills as a barista were put to the test as he juggled orders and conversations with effortless grace. The coffee shop hummed with activity as customers lined up at the counter, their voices blending into a lively cacophony. Luca's hands moved with practiced precision as he prepared cappuccinos and lattes, his attention divided between brewing coffee and engaging in animated discussions. 2 cappuccinos and a latte coming right up. Luca called out cheerfully as he deftly steamed milk and pulled shots of espresso. The customers waiting eagerly at the counter watched in awe as Luca worked his magic, transforming simple ingredients into works of art. They chatted among themselves, exchanging stories and laughter as they waited for their drinks. As Luca handed out each order with a smile and a kind word, he felt a sense of satisfaction wash over him. The energy of the coffee shop was infectious, drawing people together in a shared experience that transcended mere caffeine consumption. In these moments of bustling activity and friendly chatter, Luca felt alive and connected to those around him in ways that went beyond words. In quieter moments at Cafe Venezia, when the rush of customers subsided and the coffee shop took on a more contemplative air, Luca found himself reflecting on life's deeper mysteries. The rain continued to fall outside, its gentle rhythm providing a soothing backdrop to the hushed conversations that filled the space. Customers sipped their drinks slowly, lost in their own thoughts as they savored each moment of peace. Luca moved about the coffee shop with quiet grace, his movements unhurried as he attended to each customer with care. He listened intently to their stories and shared moments of quiet connection that went beyond mere words. In these intimate exchanges, he found solace and meaning, forging bonds that transcended the boundaries of time and space. As he wiped down tables and restocked shelves, Luca allowed himself to sink into the stillness of the moment, letting go of all worries and distractions. The flickering candles cast soft shadows on the walls, creating an atmosphere of serenity that enveloped him like a warm embrace. In these quiet reflections, Luca found clarity and peace, grateful for the sanctuary that Cafe Venezia provided. The sensory details of Cafe Venezia heightened the experience for both Luca and his customers, adding an extra layer of richness to their interactions. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the sweet scent of pastries baking in the oven. The sound of rain tapping against the windows created a soothing backdrop to the bustling activity inside. "Ah, can you smell that?" Luca exclaimed excitedly as he pulled a tray of freshly baked croissants out of the oven. The golden pastries emitted a tantalizing aroma that filled the entire coffee shop with warmth and comfort. Customers turned their heads in appreciation, their mouths watering at the sight and scent of the delicious treats. As customers sipped their drinks and savored each bite of pastry, they were transported to another world by the sensory delights surrounding them. The rich flavors of coffee danced on their tongues, while the soft music playing in the background added an extra layer of ambience to the experience. In these moments of sensory immersion, time seemed to slow down as people lost themselves in the simple pleasures of taste and touch. Occasionally, Cafe Venezia experienced whimsical moments that seemed to defy explanation and added an element of enchantment to the everyday interactions within its walls. A cup of coffee would levitate momentarily before settling back down on its saucer as if by magic, or a customer's forgotten umbrella would mysteriously reappear by the door just when they needed it most. These small miracles added an air of mystery and wonder to the coffee shop's already charming atmosphere. One rainy afternoon, as Luca was busy behind the counter preparing drinks for customers, a young girl entered Cafe Venezia with wide eyes and a mischievous grin. She approached Luca with an air of excitement and whispered something in his ear that made him chuckle softly. Without missing a beat, Luca reached behind him and pulled out a small toy rabbit from his apron pocket, much to the girl's delight. The customers around them watched in amusement as Luca engaged in playful banter with the young girl, creating an impromptu magic show that brought smiles to everyone's faces. As she left with her parents, clutching her new toy rabbit tightly in her hand, Luca winked at her knowingly before turning back to his work with a twinkle in his eye. As the day drew to a close and customers began to bid farewell one by one, Luca felt a deep sense of gratitude for the community that thrived at Cafe Venezia. The bonds forged over cups of coffee and shared conversations were precious to him, reminding him of the power of connection that transcended mere transactions. In a world that often felt chaotic and fast-paced, Cafe Venezia offered a sanctuary of warmth and belonging that was rare and precious. Arrivederci. See you tomorrow, Luca called out cheerfully as customers made their way out into the fading light of the rainy evening. Each goodbye was accompanied by smiles and well wishes, creating an atmosphere of camaraderie that lingered long after they had left. As he locked up Cafe Venezia for the night, Luca knew that tomorrow would bring new faces and new experiences, but today had been special in its own right. The legacy of Cafe Venezia lived on not just in its delicious coffee or cozy ambience, but in the connections forged between people from all walks of life. Luca knew that as long as Cafe Venezia stood as a beacon of warmth and community in Venice, it would continue to bring joy and meaning to those who crossed its threshold. As Luca finished cleaning up for the night and prepared to close up Cafe Venezia for another day, he felt a pang of nostalgia wash over him. The rain had finally subsided outside, leaving behind glistening cobblestone streets illuminated by soft streetlights. The day had been filled with laughter, stories shared over cups of coffee, and moments of genuine connection that would linger in his memory long after they had passed. Luca took one last look around at the cozy interior of Cafe Venezia, the vintage posters adorning the walls, shelves filled with books waiting to be read, and felt a swell of gratitude for all that this place had given him. It wasn't just a business or a job. It was a sanctuary where friendships were forged and memories were made. As he turned off the lights and locked up Cafe Venezia for another night's rest, Luca knew that tomorrow would bring new adventures, but today had been special in its own right. The rain had brought people together under its gentle embrace, creating moments that would be cherished for years to come. As Luca walked home through Venice's quiet streets under a canopy of twinkling stars overhead, he thought about the legacy of Cafe Venezia, the place that had become more than just a business or a coffee shop to him. It was a haven where friendships were forged, stories were shared, and joy was found even on rainy days when everything seemed gray and somber. The next morning dawned bright and clear over Venice as Luca returned to open up Cafe Venezia once again. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air as customers began to trickle in one by one, some familiar faces from yesterday mixed with new arrivals seeking respite from the bustling city outside. Luca greeted each person with his trademark warmth and enthusiasm as he prepared their drinks with care and precision. As laughter rang out once again within Cafe Venezia's cozy confines and stories were exchanged over cups of coffee, Luca knew that this place would continue to be a beacon of warmth and community in Venice for years to come. And so it was that Cafe Venezia stood as not just a coffee shop, but as a testament to the power of connection, a place where strangers became friends and where joy could be found even on rainy days when everything seemed bleak. Luca smiled as he watched his customers settle in for another day filled with laughter and conversation, because he knew that this was more than just a business, it was home.